Skill-based matchmaking, or Sbmm for short, can be a controversial topic in multiplayer games. For those who don't know, Sbmm is when a game attempts to match players up against others of equal skill. How the game determines one's skill is a complex topic and is a bit outside the scope of this video, but at this point it's pretty much expected that most AAA multiplayer games will have at least some form of skill-based matchmaking, with one or two exceptions. The alternative is matching people up at random regardless of how good or bad they are, and depending on who you ask, this can either yield better, worse, or the same results as skill-based matchmaking. With random matchmaking, the distribution of skill in any given lobby will tend to follow a bell curve, with a small number of people at the very bottom of the skill curve, a small number of people at the very top of the skill curve, and a very large number of players somewhere in the middle with average skills. The more players you have in a lobby, the more likely this pattern will emerge, which is why games in the Battlefield franchise with their large 64 and 128 player lobbies have never needed true skill-based matchmaking, because the sheer number of players in a lobby means that both teams usually have roughly equal numbers of low, medium, and high skill players. Though recently Battlefield has begun using a bit of auto team balancing to decide which team a player will be on after they join the lobby based on their skill level. Where it all starts falling apart is when you get into games with smaller team sizes. Take Overwatch for example, which consists of 2 teams of 6 facing up against each other. Because the team sizes are much smaller in that game, not only does each individual player's skill have a much larger impact on their team, but it also means that you're much more likely to get an uneven matchup without Sbmm, because the teams just aren't big enough to average out any outliers in skill. That's why Overwatch has very heavy skill-based matchmaking even in casual queues, to try to keep games as fair as possible. A lot of people don't have any real issues with Sbmm and find that it generally does what it's supposed to do. But then there are people who don't like Sbmm, and among them the controversy seems to be twofold. First, you have those who think Sbmm just doesn't work very well. For example, most Battle Royale games I know of have skill-based matchmaking, and yet when I play Apex, it's not uncommon for me to be put into lobbies against very high-skill players who I have no realistic chance at beating, which means I'm pretty much guaranteed to lose that game unless I also have a very high-skill player on my team. And oftentimes it feels like whatever skill-based matchmaking Apex has going on isn't really doing much. I think this is largely a Battle Royale problem due to how hard it is to find 20 or more equally skilled teams to put together into one lobby. And so for the sake of faster queue times, Apex and other Battle Royales are probably a bit more lenient about their matchmaking than other types of games. On the other half of the controversy, you have those who think skill-based matchmaking works too well, and it feels like every game is an absolute sweatfest because everyone is at the same skill level, making it impossible to enjoy a game casually. This sentiment seems to be particularly strong in the Call of Duty community, especially among high-level players and content creators who are tired of having to treat every match like there's money on the line. Every Call of Duty since the original Modern Warfare has had some form of skill-based matchmaking, and I don't ever see it going away since the team sizes in COD games are so small. But it seems like a lot of COD players do have issues with the Sbmm, and I'm curious to know how random matchmaking would improve the experience. I'm sure it will make games less sweaty for high-level players, but wouldn't it also increase the sweatiness for low and average level players? Or what if you're a low skill player who by chance gets put in a lobby full of high skill players? Who decides which team is going to be at a disadvantage? There are so many unanswered questions when it comes to random matchmaking, and I'd really like to hear your thoughts about it, as well as your personal experience with skill-based matchmaking in general, whether it's in Call of Duty or any other game you play. If you've had the chance to play a game before and after Sbmm was added, how did it change the game for you? Why do you think Sbmm has become so standard these days? And if you dislike Sbmm, how do you think random matchmaking would improve the games you play? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, come check out my second channel where I usually stream about 4 times a week. This week we're going to be playing Tarkov, Super Hot, and even some Minecraft. And I also like to mix things up every now and again with totally left field stuff like that hot tub stream I did that one time. So come check it out. It's always a good time. Links to my second channel, my Twitch channel, my Discord, and Twitter all down below. Like, subscribe, bell, and as always, have a nice day.